The car market is screwed. People simply can't make their payments. They borrowed way too much money on vehicles that are not worth that much. They owed more than the car's worth, and repo rates are so high. If you go to a car auction, all you're going to see is repo after repo going through. Banks are trying to get their money out of these cars that just got repoed just a few weeks ago. And there's never been so much of a surge of repos in the market, but at the end of the day, the used car or new car market is completely crazy. Used car prices still make no sense at all. I mean, it's insane at some of these used car dealerships. And if you've been to a new car dealership lately, you will see some of the craziest prices ever. Most manufacturers went to building super expensive vehicles, so we'll see $100,000 trucks at Ford or Chevy, or even $100,000 Jeeps. It's crazy, and you got to think about all these people taking out super long loan term payments, which is going to be 84 months. That's pretty much the longest most lenders will go. But how much longer until we see 96 or over 100 months on vehicles? That's the only way they're going to be able to keep selling these vehicles, considering every single year they just get more and more expensive. And it's crazy because at the same time, quality's going down. So if you buy a car, you probably will have issues with it. And I'm talking about brand new vehicles that are brand new having issues. It's like, what's going on? At least you still have a warranty, but half the time the manufacturer barely wants to fix their own product, and then you're lucky if you get a loaner car. So the car market shouldn't be like this, but it's the way it is. They found out how to make more money per vehicle by cutting costs and raising the price of the vehicle at the same time while they're cutting costs. So many people want vehicles. So over the last few years, so many banks were giving out loans like no other. And so now you have a huge repo crisis with the most repos since 2009. And the big issue is they have negative equity, so they can't sell the car without having money. They didn't put money down. The dealership probably charged all this stuff, so they just got screwed. And that's the biggest thing. You have to go in a car deal doing your due diligence. You can't just trust the dealership or rely on them for information. You have to do your own research. And most people don't even put any money down, which is a crucial mistake, and they're financing super long. So what do you think's going to happen? And some of these interest rates that we're seeing, 12, 16, 21% interest on these vehicles. Because subprime lending is so common now, so people are financing these vehicles at 84 months at 16%. They're going to end up paying more money on interest than the car is worth. But finally, banks are having to tighten up because they're increasing something called loan loss provision. This is money banks put aside that they know people are not going to make their payments. That way they have loss provisions to the side ready to go. And with that increasing month after month, it means they tighten up on their loans. They're going to have more restrictions and more underwriting to get loans approved, which means dealerships are not going to get as many car deals done. It's going to be much harder, and they're going to have to prove income and get all this stuff and pay bank fees. If you didn't know, a lot of dealerships will have an option with the subprime person to get them approved. If they pay a bank fee to the bank, they will approve the loan. That's how risky a lot of these loans are because it happens so often. The bank knows there's a 20 or 30% chance we're going to have to repo this car in 2 months. And with the flood of repos on the used market, you know repos are not treated good at all. But with the average new car payment being over $749, people are going into way too much debt for a vehicle that's going to break down left and right. So the whole car market's messed up. Prices are not where they need to be, anywhere close. And the only way they're trying to solve it is by financing the vehicles longer and longer. But the banks are starting to say no, they're not approving as many loans. People are going to have to start bringing money down because there's so many loans they were approving with 0 down 84-month loans. Super high interest rate and their LTVs, their loan to value ratios, are getting much smaller, which normally they would go 120% loan to value, over 20% what the vehicle's actually worth, which is where the dealership can add all the extra add-ons, like the nitrogen-filled tires, $5,000 window tint, market adjustments, all sorts of stupid add-ons. But now with the LTVs being lowered, it's just going to hurt the dealership's profit. They definitely deserve this, though. Especially after what they did over the last few years. A lot of them put their own customers in this kind of situation. They come to trade in the car, they're like, oh crap, you bought the car from us. Yeah, you're so buried in this car, you are not going to get out of this thing for years and years until you pay the thing off. But at the end of the day, the banks do control the car market, because if the banks stop lending, dealerships will stop selling, especially newer vehicles. Almost every single one of them is financed. The amount of people who can actually pay cash for a new vehicle nowadays is extremely low and they are very rare right now. But let me know what you think. This car market is crazy. Have a great day and stay blessed.